The movie begins ages ago in a Russian forest. You see hunter tribe women taking offerings to the forest gods, and a kid named Ivan's with them. On the way, Ivan spots a bird and just stops to watch it. He tells his mom and the others to go on and make the offering. He'll catch up in a sec. His mom keeps going with the rest of the women while Ivan, who loves to draw, starts sketching the beautiful bird. FYI, magical fairy folk live in this forest too. They look human, but they're totally not. The hunter tribe women stop in a forest spot and start leaving offerings for the gods. Right then, the fairy king, Van Rag, shows up. Seeing him, the women freak out and start screaming. Hearing the screams, Ivan runs to where the women were making the offering, but finds no sign of his mom or any other women. Years pass after this incident, and Ivan grows into a young man. His older brother, Yunha, and his mute sister, Lucy, take him to the forest every day to teach him to hunt. One day in the forest, Lucy signals Ivan to focus on the deer in front of them and shoot an arrow while staying hidden. But Ivan's different from his siblings. He doesn't like killing animals, so he tries to avoid the situation. During this moment, Ivan sees a fairy girl hiding behind a tree, and distracted by her, he trips on his own bow and falls. The noise makes the deer run, and the fairy girl also hides. When the deer runs off, his brother Yunha gets mad. He tells Ivan he not only failed to hunt, but also let the deer escape. Yunha says Ivan always messes up, and that he will tell Dad it's Ivan's fault they couldn't hunt today either. Lucy, through gestures, tries to calm Yunha, telling him not to be mad at Ivan, and that he'll learn little by little. Yunha asks how long she's going to keep defending this coward. Back home, Ivan draws the fairy girl he saw in the forest. When he tries to put the drawing in his trunk, he finds a strange book. Ivan opens the book and sees it has illustrations of magical fairy creatures along with info about them. Something surprising happens as he reads the book. A magical light starts entering him, making him dizzy and causing him to fall. During this, a magic mark appears on his wrist. A little later, his sister comes in and gestures, asking what he's reading. Only then does Ivan tell her he found this mysterious book here at home, that he's never seen it before, and it has info on all the fairy creatures. Lucy opens the book, looks at it, and gestures, saying it's nonsense, then throws it aside. Just then, his older brother Yunha walks in, picks up the book, and opening it, sees an illustration of the fairy king, Van Rag. Then he tells Lucy he has to show this book to Dad, because it might have useful info for him. In the next scene, their father Rag is shown threatening a man named Kosi while holding a whip. He tells Kosi not to ever interfere in his business again. Yunha takes the book to his father and tells him he found it with Ivan. He explains to Ragn, who is cruel and greedy, that it has info on magical fairy creatures. Ragn asks Ivan where he got the book. Ivan replies he doesn't know how it got in his trunk, but believes he could find his mother, who disappeared in the forest years ago, through that book. His father tells him that if she were alive, she'd have returned after all these years, and Van Rag surely killed her. Ivan says the book also says all fairy creatures fear silver, salt, and the tassi plant, because if they touch them, their bodies disintegrate into golden dust. Hearing this, his cruel and greedy father is overjoyed. He tells his kids that now they can wipe out these magical creatures and that from today on, they'll hunt them. Hearing his father, Ivan gets anxious, as he doesn't want to hurt innocent beings for no reason. But both his brother and sister are as cruel and ruthless as their father. So they make necklaces with silver coins and tassi leaves, and also prepare a mixture of salt powder and tassi leaves. The next day, Ivan goes to the forest with his brother and sister to hunt fairy creatures. By chance, they see a magic girl. Lucy and her two siblings hide and watch her. Meanwhile, Ivan checks the book and reads about the girl, discovering she's a princess of the fairy world's serpent lineage. Lucy throws a garlic necklace towards the girl from behind a bush. The curious girl picks up the necklace, but the smell of garlic makes her dizzy. The three siblings introduce themselves. Seeing them, the girl tries to run. They chase her, and during the chase, Yuna throws a stone lasso at her feet, making her fall. To save herself, the girl transforms into a snake, but Lucy catches her, forcing her back into human form. They take her back to their house, where the girl begs them to let her go, telling them she's never hurt anyone. But Ron replies he'll avenge his wife's death with her people. The serpent girl tells them their people never hurt anyone, and they don't know what happened to his wife. However, the ruthless Ragn doesn't listen and orders Ivan to put the necklace made of silver coins and tassi leaves on her. Ivan doesn't want to, but under his father's pressure, he finally places the necklace around the girl's neck. As soon as he puts it on, she dies in great pain. The greedy Ragn collects the golden dust in a bag. He tells Lucy that in a few days, they'll be the richest. Meanwhile, Ivan is chopping wood, very sad about what happened. The image of the crying girl keeps swirling in his mind, and he also feels a lot of pain from the mark that appears appeared on his wrist. Because of this, he decides to see a sorceress. The sorceress tells him this magic mark seems to come from the fairy world. She says she doesn't have much info about it, but the symptoms and this mark on his body indicate he doesn't have much time left to live and he'll die soon. She also says she doesn't have a cure for this, but her medicines can reduce his pain. Ivan drinks the medicine. From then on, every day following his father's orders, Yuna and Lucy kill several magical fairy creatures and collect the golden dust from their bodies in bags. One day, Ivan is sitting outside his house drawing something when his evil brother Yuna arrives and takes the book from him. Just then, they see a dragon flying in the sky. Yuna quickly opens the book and flips through the pages until he finds an illustration of the dragon. Then he says this is a fairy world dragon. Something surprising happens when he tears out the page. The dragon disintegrates and turns into golden dust. At that moment, his father also arrives. Yuna tells him he's discovered something new, that this book has a special power, and if they tear out all the pages, all the magical creatures will disappear. His father replies that if they kill all the magical creatures this way, how will they get the gold? And that they have to kill them right in front of them where they can collect the golden dust from their bodies. The worker Kosi secretly observes all this and seems to know some mystery. Shortly after, Lucy captures another fairy girl in the forest. It's the same beautiful girl Ivan once saw hiding behind the trees. Lucy tells her father and brother this girl was watching their house. Now Ragan tells Lucy to kill her too and turn her into dust. Ivan didn't want this to happen, so he begged his father to please let this one go, saying he'd killed so many magical creatures already. His father gets furious and asks if he's asking to spare their enemy, saying these creatures killed his mother. Ivan responds that nobody knows what happened to Mom and asks what's wrong with not killing so many innocent people just on suspicion. This angers his father even more and tells him to go and do his job. During the night, Ivan takes a torch and goes to the room where the girl was tied up. Ivan asks her who she is and why she was watching his house. The girl replies her name is Diva and she's the daughter of King Van Rag of the fairy world. She says she wasn't watching his house but him because she felt a strange magic in him. Hearing this, Ivan shows her the mark on his wrist. Diva says this is the magic of their world, and if a human gets magic, they will die in 7 days. Ivan responds that 5 days have passed, meaning he only has 2 left. Diva says yes, the book he has is the most important in their world and asks where he got it. Ivan replies he doesn't know, it just appeared in his house. Diva says if he frees her, she can help him. Ivan hesitates and asks why he should trust her. Diva replies that in 2 days he won't be alive to trust her. Ivan decides to free her. Ivan frees Diva and together they head north into the forest. In the morning, Yunha informs his father that Ivan and the girl escaped and took the book. His father orders Yunha to go with his sister and find them at all costs. Just then, Van Rag appears and tells Ran his daughter was in his custody and he's already killed many of their people, so he shouldn't cross the line. Ran replies that Van Rag killed his wife, and now they're taking revenge. At that moment, Ivan and Diva were walking through the forest. Suddenly, they heard a sound behind them. They stopped, trying to figure out what it was. But out of nowhere, someone smacked Ivan in the back of his head. He collapsed to the ground. A little later, he slowly opened his eyes, and there he was, standing right in front of him. Ivan jumped to his feet, ready to fight. Diva stops him and tells the dark man that he's with her. Ivan asks who he is and why he attacked him. Diva replies he's the guardian of the fairy world's border. Ivan says they're all the same. Diva denies it and responds they have rules and don't use their power to harm humans without reason. Then she tells the guardian there was a path to the forest goddess around here, but she doesn't see it anymore, and the forest also looks different and she needs to take him to the forest goddess. The guardian replies that when this human's relatives started hunting their people, they put up an invisible magic wall to protect themselves so humans couldn't reach this part of the forest. He asks why she wants to take him to their territory, saying he and his family are murderers of their people. Diva says he's not like the rest of his family, and the forest goddess will decide if they should help him. At Diva's insistence, the guardian recites a spell, and an invisible wall disappears, revealing a green magical forest. Diva and Ivan continue their journey. In the next scene, Ragan's village market is shown, where villagers greet him with admiration, believing Ragan is protecting them by eliminating supernatural creatures. Ragan asks a blacksmith to make him special weapons, but the blacksmith refuses, saying he won't support his evil deeds. Ragan replies that killing supernatural creatures isn't an evil act and that he does it for everyone's good, as those creatures are dangerous. The blacksmith retorts that there was never enmity between those creatures and humans, that they never harmed them, nor did they harm the creatures until Ragan started killing them, turning them into enemies. In the next scene, Ivan and Diva have entered the fairy forest. After walking a bit, Diva stops to talk with 2 children from her world while Ivan goes on a bit further. Suddenly, 2 magical-looking youths catch him and ask what he's doing in their world, saying he killed many of their people today guilty and will pay for it. As they're about to take Ivan, Diva arrives and asks them to let him go. They know her and ask why she brought a killer. Diva says he's not like the rest of his family. He freed her, and she came to bring him to meet the forest goddess. Diva calls the goddess and the other forest inhabitants. Several residents appear from behind the trees, and the forest goddess also manifests, asking why Diva brought a member of the family that killed her people. Diva explains he saved her life. She doesn't know how, but their people's book came to him, and now magic is killing him from within, and she wants the goddess to help him. The goddess replies he should be punished for what his family did, but she will test him in the circle of power to see if he committed any crime against their people, adding that if he did it intentionally, he will die. Diva tries to stop her, but the goddess doesn't give in and orders the youths to take him to the testing stone. The forest beings surround Ivan, and the goddess begins the ritual. After going through the process, Ivan suffers no harm, which surprises the goddess. She says this time, the book has chosen him as the new protector of the fairy world, and asks how it's possible, being human and part of a family that killed their people. Ivan asks what all this means, and the goddess says the magic granted to him isn't ordinary. The book chose him as the new protector of their world, and the mark on his hand confirms it. Ivan replies he doesn't want this magic or to be the protector of the fairy world. The goddess tells him he can't escape this and has two options: accept the magic and become the protector, but he must leave behind his old life, his family and friends, and his only mission will be to protect the fairy world and this book. Or if he chooses not to become the protector, he will die because he only has 2 days left. Ivan, discouraged, starts to leave. Diva follows him, and in a meadow, Ivan tells her that his journey here was in vain and she should go back. Diva responds by asking why he doesn't accept the magic and become the protector. Ivan says he doesn't want to be like them, saying they kidnapped his mother. Diva assures him his mother isn't with them, but there's another way to free him from the magic, and that they must find the goddess of destiny and the goddess of fortune. Ivan asks how they can find them. Diva takes her pendant and calls a friend, asking for his pendant to summon guides who will lead them to the goddesses. His friend, out of friendship, gives him the pendant and warns him that to reach the goddesses, they'll have to put the guardian at the door to sleep, and for that, they'll need a mermaid's tears. With that, the friend leaves. Diva takes both pendants, throws them on the ground, and 2 children appear to guide them. During this journey, Ivan and Diva fall in love. Together, they cross difficult forest and river paths until they reach the mermaid pond, where they find 2 mermaids sitting. Mermaids don't cry, they only shed tears when they laugh. Ivan is told that to make them laugh, there are many things in the book he has that could work. Hearing this, Ivan gives the book to Diva. Diva and the 2 guides head towards the mermaids. Diva starts reading a poem from the book, which makes the mermaids laugh and finally shed tears. The guides collect those tears in a small bottle. Then they give the book and the bottle to Ivan, saying that those tears have turned into divine salt, but that they could endanger Diva's life and other creatures, so they must be careful. After this, everyone continues their journey and reaches a mountain in the forest. In the next scene, Lucy and Yunha are shown looking for their brother and Diva as they wander through the forest. On their way, Lucy finds a lock of Diva's hair on the ground, plus her brother's and the girl's footprints. They follow those footprints to move forward. On the other hand, Ivan and Diva advance with the guides through dangerous mountain paths and reach a mustard field. Due to tiredness, they decide to stop to rest. While resting, the guides play among themselves, while Ivan and Diva express their love for each other. Diva creates a crown of mustard flowers and places it on Ivan's head. As they are about to kiss, Yuna and Lucy find them. Yuna accuses Ivan of being a traitor. He tells him he's with their enemy's daughter and with the book, and that her father killed their mother. Ivan responds that Diva is not an enemy, and Diva assures him that her father has never killed any human being. However, Yunha doesn't believe him and starts forcibly taking Diva. Ivan tries to stop his brother, and Diva pushes Lucy away using her powers. Then she takes Ivan's hand, and they escape into the forest. In the forest, they meet the forest guardian, whom the forest king had sent to find his daughter. The guardian orders Diva to leave Ivan and attacks Ivan. During the confrontation, several of the guardian's companions emerge from the ground and start surrounding and attacking Ivan. Diva tries to help, but some guards capture her. In the middle of the fight, magic starts flowing inside Ivan, which allows him to fight the guardian with more strength. Junha and Lucy arrive at the scene, and some guards start fighting with them. During the battle, the head guard uses his magic staff to throw Ivan to the ground, leaving him unconscious. The bottle with the mermaid tears falls out of Ivan's bag. Diva tries to wake Ivan, and Lucy finds the bottle. Seeing the divine salt, Lucy throws it on the guards to protect Diva. Ivan lunges over her and covers her, preventing the salt from touching her. The salt turns all the guards to ashes except for the chief, who manages to escape. Taking advantage of the moment, Yuna attacks Ivan from behind and tries to take Diva with Lucy, but Diva uses her powers and throws them to the ground, returning to Ivan Ivan's side. Then she creates an invisible barrier that prevents Yuna and Lucy from getting close to them. The next day, Ivan, Diva, and the guides sit by a pond. Ivan tells Diva that this situation is his responsibility and he doesn't want her to be in constant danger. He asks her to go home as he'll continue the journey alone with the guides. Diva, though she loves him, sadly accepts and leaves. When Diva returns to the mustard field to pick up the crown she had made, Yuna and Lucy capture her. Meanwhile, unaware of this, Ivan continues his journey with the guides to the goddess's home. They reach a green field where the guides tell Ivan that there is the secret path that leads to the goddesses of luck and misfortune, guarded by a huge monster. Two brothers who were also trying to reach the goddesses are turned into stones by the monster. The guides suggest Ivan use the mermaid tears. Ivan throws the salt into the monster's nose, and it falls asleep, allowing a magic portal to open. Ivan goes through the portal and appears before the goddesses. He asks them to free him from his destiny as a guardian, but the goddess of luck tells him she cannot do such a thing, while the goddess of misfortune warns him that destroying the book would wipe out all magical creatures, which would go against the laws of nature. They tell him that everything depends on his actions, and that as he acts, they will weave the threads of his destiny. Ivan asks what he should do and why he has to do with all this. The goddesses explain that the book holds the existence of the fairy world, and that for centuries, the book chooses a guardian whose job is to protect it and document all magical creatures. They tell him that if he accepts to be the guardian, he will become immortal, but must abandon his home and family to start a new life. The next scene shows Diva trapped by Yuna, Lucy, and Ragan. They have surrounded her with silver coins and magic ropes so she can't escape. Just then, the Forest King and the chief of the guards appear, wanting to rescue his daughter, but they can't cross the magic ropes or use their magic inside the circle. Ragn, Ivan's father, tells the Forest King and his guards that he knows their weaknesses and will kill Diva in revenge. Ivan, desperate to save Diva, pushes his father, but Yuna starts strangling him. The Forest King and the guards from outside the circle try to break the barrier, but their magic doesn't work. Yuna keeps squeezing Ivan's neck, and before he can free himself, Lucy places the necklace on Diva, killing her. The Forest King and Ivan scream in pain. The king leaves, threatening revenge, while Ivan, heartbroken, decides to become the guardian to revive Diva. Becoming the guardian, Ivan recites a spell from the book and returns his father to his childhood, telling him he hopes he grows up to be a better person. Then he returns to the forest and finds the page in the book where he had drawn Diva. Just then, Kosi appears and asks him to write in the book that he is an immortal being, promising in return to tell him where his mother is. Kosi reveals to Ivan that he had stolen the book but wasn't chosen as guardian, so he left it in his possession. Now he wants Ivan to make him immortal. Ivan refuses, but Kosi threatens to destroy the book's pages, which would wipe out all magical creatures. He tears out a page as a sign of his intentions. Ivan, to save his mother, gives in and writes that Kosi is an immortal being. As he does so, Kosi transforms. Then he tells Ivan where his mother is and leaves, promising they'll meet again. Ivan, aware of the danger Kosi poses, adds a line to the book indicating that his life is tied to a secret needle. If the needle breaks, Kosi will die. Finally, Ivan places the page with Diva's drawing in the book and recites a spell, bringing her back to life. Due to his magical nature, Ivan is happy to have Diva back, and together they head to find Ivan's mother. This is the end of the first part of this fantasy story. Stay tuned for the next chapter. It's going to be epic. See ya and enjoy.